Dozens of countries will gather together once every 2 years to take part in what is considered to be the largest maritime military exercise in the world. RIMPAC stands for the Rim of the Pacific exercise and is the name for this event. It provides the opportunity for thousands of Navy crewmen to improve their abilities, participate in simulated battle drills, and engage in live fire training exercises. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we'll be looking at why the US Navy sinks its ships every year. Yeah, you heard it right. So, let's start our video. During RIMPAC, the United States military has a long tradition of employing obsolete ships that have been decommissioned or left in a derelict state as targets. The SINK-X, or the sinking exercise, is a good illustration of this concept, and it's often cited as one of the more extreme examples. SINK-X, as its name might imply, entails employing actual full-size ships as target ships for the sake of crew training and armament testing. In essence, it provides sailors with an up-close and personal look at the capabilities of their weaponry, as well as an idea of what they may anticipate during a genuine confrontation with an adversary's vessel. To maximize the effectiveness of the drills, ships generally employ an assortment of cannons, missiles, and torpedoes. In the end, it's a win-win situation for all parties involved. The sailor receives crucial training in the use of their weaponry, and the ancient ships are given one last purpose. The sunken warships will become a refuge for marine life and a destination for commercial divers. Before they can be sunk, the decommissioned vessels employed in the sinking exercises must be thoroughly cleaned and cleared. This entails removing any materials or technologies that could be beneficial to anatomy, as well as all the environmental toxins such as asbestos and oil. In most instances, SINK-X training involves numerous vessels, planes, and even land teams. The objective is to let as many soldiers as possible get combat experience prior to the actual sinking of the target vessel. Essentially, each unit will take turns engaging the sunken vessel with a variety of weaponry and tactics. This kind of attack typically produces just superficial damage rather than sinking the vessel. When it's time to deliver the killing blow, however, the invading ships will employ heavy-duty weapons such as torpedoes and Harpoon anti-ship missiles. Launching a Harpoon missile from a ship is difficult. Simply loading the 1,100-pound weapon demands the close cooperation of numerous crew members. It might be devastating for the ship or submarine to launch the weapon if a single stage of the multi-phase procedure is overlooked. However, Harpoon missiles are lethal weapons, sporting a 488-pound payload that travels at more than 500 miles per hour just above sea level. These missiles are so advanced that each one costs roughly $1.5 million. In contrast, torpedoes are far less sophisticated yet no less lethal. These self-propelled weapons move just beneath the water's surface where they may cause the most damage to hostile vessels' hulls. They're loaded in a manner similar to that of the Harpoon and released from several torpedo tubes in the ship's bow, sides, and stern. Typically, a single torpedo is sufficient to completely destroy a ship, assuming the proximity detonation happens in the vulnerable areas upon contact. As stated, only destroyers and other attack boats participate in RIMPAC SINK-X exercises. These exercises are used by aircraft carriers from multiple nations to evaluate their flight crew's overall combat preparedness. This includes preparing, loading, and launching fighter jets under conditions remarkably close to those seen during genuine combat. These aircraft will also have the opportunity to engage enemy vessels with an assortment of bombs. On the ground, US Marine Corps FA-18 Hornets receive similar training. After being loaded and fueled, they'll participate in a number of simulated conflicts at sea and in the vicinity. Due to the abundance of uninhabited islands and other distant locations, RIMPAC is held in Hawaii, which offers numerous unique simulation chances. The submarine rescue practice is by far one of the most critical drills conducted during RIMPAC. In this instance, the US and Chinese Navy divers utilize a submersible vehicle to tackle a mock-up part of a sunken ship. The submersible pilot is responsible for aligning the hatches precisely. Once linked, they're able to equalize the pressure and allow any trapped crew members requiring rescue to enter the submersible. These operations are considered among the most logistically difficult in the world. Therefore, the ability to train in realistic settings is vital for future success. Unfortunately, not every operation can be conducted on Hawaii's lovely warm seas. Since 2016, the United States Navy has increased its efforts to expand its Arctic mission. This has led to the creation of a training program known as ICE-X like RIMPAC. Several nations collaborate to conduct numerous drills and exercises in one of the world's coldest and most isolated regions. Submarines, vessel divers, and even Arctic research posts participate in ice torpedo recovery situations for approximately 5 weeks. This exercise involves extraordinary cooperation on the part of the ship's divers and crew. Even with thick, dry suits and other protective gear, it is highly dangerous to enter water that is barely above freezing. The same may be true for the vessels that must go through this thick ice, particularly submarines. The true difficulty, however, arises when the submarine needs to surface. After all, attempting to raise the vessel through thick, heavy ice might do severe damage to the ship, potentially rendering it inoperable thousands of miles from help. Therefore, prior to attempting to break through the ice, Selves will utilize satellite photos to determine any adjacent fissures or weak points. If none are discovered, the captain will be required to punch through. In order to limit the damage, sub-crews will only attempt this in locations where the ice is less than 3 feet thick, unless it is an emergency. Once a location has been identified, the crew releases compressed air from the ballast tanks to propel the submarine through the ice into the frigid air. Whether in the tropics of the Pacific or the Arctic tundra, militaries around the world are constantly preparing their crews for each conceivable scenario. From search and rescue to all-out combat, these men and women require practice to meet their commander's standards. Events like RIMPAC, SINC-X, and ICE-X are crucial to attaining this level of proficiency. And that's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section down below. I hope that you found this video interesting, and if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. See you in the following video with some more of the latest updates, and until then, stay tuned.